Welcome to the Upholstery Show, live from Arlington, Massachusetts. We're going to serve you up a beautiful bowl of coconut fiber. Really? Well, here we are, another live question and answer. It seems like these weeks are just going by so fast. And it's good that you join us. Thank you. And don't be shy about asking questions. Upholstery related, that is. That's just about all I know anyhow. So I hope all our friends are safe all over the world. We have people in Saudi Arabia, we have people in Australia, we have people in South America who watch us, and many other places on YouTube. But thank you for all you guys on YouTube, and please, if you're just seeing us for the first time, please subscribe on YouTube. It gives us a pulse of the channel. That's how we kind of rate the pulse of where we are, is by the subscriptions, and we're so happy to get 10,000. It did take 10 years to get 10,000, so it was a difficult task. I mean, we're not posting videos that are outrageous and people click on because of the titles and everything like that. We don't do that. We're informative. Average retention rate, and this gets the attention of a lot of people in the business, is about 5.5 minutes. So that they tell me that's really good on a YouTube video. You know, people aren't just clicking on and seeing, you know, the girl going up in the kite like that recent one I saw, and you know, that's it. No, they're coming. It's earned. We do earn our way on this station. I think we give a lot of stuff out on YouTube. But don't forget the online classes. I got a call today from somebody that didn't realize, she was a YouTube fan, didn't realize we had the online classes and really didn't know the difference. Or she didn't know they were on, first of all. But a lot of people, if they don't know the difference, the big difference is on the online classes, yes, we charge a nominal fee for a class. I think you get good value for that. You can be a year-long person, or you can be somebody that just watches one video and then decide if you want to be with us, you know, for a year-long subscription. So check it out. You don't have to commit. If you go on BroadwayUpholsterySchool.com, you'll see the classes and featured students, really wonderful people, Jimmy and Michelle, really good sports. And the reason it's different, they're asking the questions that I've forgotten myself. You know, we as professionals, whether you're doing upholstery or you're flying an airplane or if you're building a house, we oftentimes with the knowledge that we have, we don't always express it. We don't always, we're so mechanical with it. So what the online classes do is that it's a kind of a check and balance for me, right? And I think that every one of those classes that we've offered, I think they go from 10 weeks to 12 weeks or whatever. They vary. Every night, every time we offered one class, an hour and a half, there were at least 3 or 4 times when I might even stop and say, sometimes I'll stop and say, see, that's something you don't get on YouTube. When somebody says, when somebody asks me the question. So check it out, and if you still, listen, we love YouTube. If you still want to just do that, that's fine. We've heard from people. I can't believe I've heard from people who say they've actually can upholster themselves using the YouTube channel. You know, that's incredible. That's somebody that's very smart, I think, that's intuitive and able to fill in. What that is a person that's able to fill in the gaps in the learning. Because there's gaps in the learning on the YouTube channel, I'll admit that. But on the online classes, you get more of a direct right in there with an apprentice. So check it out. Just check it out. You don't have to buy it. Just check out the website. So let's move now. We've got some business.
Jimmy's on.
Jimmy, would Jimmy like to call in at some point? You know what? This is important because we haven't heard from Jimmy, and Jimmy was wondering about that, I think, today. Jimmy, would you like to call in, Jimmy? If not, if you're shy, I can understand that, but I have my phone right here because I'm sure some of our people in the audience are wondering what you've been up to and what's going on with you. And I think the last time I talked to you, I thought you might have been caught up in a roll of coconut fiber or something somewhere rolling down a hill. That's the vision I had of you. But if you want to give us a call, feel free, okay, buddy? I'd like to talk to you live. Anyhow, So let's get to these questions and hope that Jimmy calls us. Sylvia is talking about the amazing Chippendale sofa restoration. It's done. And it's for sale soon. Is it for sale soon, Patrick, or is it for sale
tonight? It'll be up tonight.
Tonight, as early as tonight, guys. We'll check the price out and see what a fair price for this is. It's very fair. It doesn't come into account the cost of the frame of the piece and the actual piece, because if you've seen, we found it on the side of the road, which saves at least double or triple the amount of money that it would have cost if I were to make the frame myself and build everything up from the ground up. Much different that way, but that's why I think we're going to be, hopefully, if it depends on if this sells, so we go to the next piece, which happens to be a beautiful mid-century piece of furniture that I have. And I'm not sure if I want to recover this because the fabric, it's from the 50s, it's almost perfect. I mean, and I have extra fabric, so that might be, I might repair that and then offer that for sale. But it all hinges on the Chippendale to see what type of activity we get from that and if we sell it within a reasonable amount of time. Because if you've seen what I did on it, there's a huge commitment on labor on it. So I don't want to proceed to the next one until this one's sold. You can understand that, because we're not a big shop, it's just me. And I have somebody that does my cushions and things like that, but okay, so number 2, thank you, Sylvia. Sylvia says stunning on the sofa. I did want to mention, something about the velvet, and actually I think I'm going to talk about that now. So it's about, for you people who are moving into like a professional career or just starting out, and part of your job as an upholsterer is selling fabric. It's actually estimating the labor, estimating how many yards of fabric, and then it's very skillful to try to sell fabric to people, you guys. It really is. You have to have a good sense of color. You have to have a good sense of scale, and you have to really be a part psychologist. Sometimes you have to extract the information from a client. Most times you do, about what they want. They don't know what they want, or they think they know what they want, which is even worse, and then you have to try to figure that out. There's a lot of factors in selling fabric. So one of the ones on the Chippendale sofa that I wanted to mention was that we chose a velvet. And the velvet on a camelback presents a problem. First off, is that we didn't want seams in it, so we had to pick a velvet that had pretty much multi dimensions. You know, we could railroad it, in other words, which we did. But some of the endearing features, one big endearing feature of velvet that I like, and I pay no attention to it at all, oddly, are roll marks or marking in the velvet.
Pamela said she posted a question with a photo on the Facebook group.
Cool.
So velvet has this natural, when it's in a roll, it's rolled really tight, and then when you get it, it actually shows roll marks. So if you can pan over, Michaela, to the sofa, I want to show people. So there's you see in the back some lines going up, and on the cushion there's a couple of lines. Those are actually roll marks, which to me are very normal and endearing. And the reason I bring it up is if you're going to be selling velvet to a customer, you guys, you have to, especially if it's a sofa, because you're seeing more of the velvet, you're seeing more of a stretch of a run of the fabric. You really have to go over all of the aspects of what you're selling. One of them is, there's nothing worse than having a client pick a velvet. You do the sofa, you bring it in, they complain about the roll marks. They don't like that, and I'll tell you why. We're conditioned. most people are conditioned to buy store-bought furniture, and I have to tell you, store-bought furniture is they select fabrics that have no blemishes, and I want to talk a little bit about this because these issues come up a lot. They're not necessarily selling custom, decorative fabrics. They're selling fabrics that usually they stay away from velvet. You've noticed that for this reason. But I think this is real traditional. I love the fact that we picked the velvet for this, and then you guys picked. Did we pick the velvet and the color, Patrick? The audience?
No, they chose everything.
They chose the velvet and the color.
Yeah, we started off with.
But we really didn't mention about some of the problems, not problems, but some of the endearing features of a velvet. Okay, so it brought up a really good point today. Before I get going too far into my comments and questions about selling fabric to customers. Thank you, Patrick. And boy, it's a real talent to do that. First of all, you need to, let's say you present yourself to the customer, and before you get there, you probably giving a voicemail, or you're leaving a message, or you're doing text messages about pricing and labor, how many yards of labor, and then you're ready to do the fabric end of things. And then the customer in these days, it's really hard, let me tell you, to sell fabrics, because some people don't want you in the house, but let's forget about that for now. So you know the yardage amount, and then you have to get from the customer, what type of fabric, like we did with the Chippendale, what type of fabric, settle on type of fabric. Is it a woven? Do you want a velvet? Do you want a plain linen? Do you want a floral? Do you want a stripe? And you go over all those things and narrow it down. I say narrow it down, but you narrow it down to the type, and then you narrow it down to the color, like we did in the Chippendale. And then you talk about how it's going to be run. If it's a stripe, how many, you may need a little bit more yardage. If it's a floral and has a pattern. So there's so many factors in this, and I think the best way to demonstrate that, perhaps, Patrick, will you remind me that we need a volunteer customer? Doesn't have to be an actual customer. Can even be Jimmy if he wants to come in sometime.
It's the second thought. That's not
pretend like we need a pretend customer.
Jimmy's be the number one choice.
And then we can do the dialogue on maybe one of the live question and answers, what the dialogue would be between a customer and me. So we get into a lot of things. We get into, the first thing I said, do you want it the same style? Most people say yes, or they'll say, well, what do you suggest I can do? Well, a lot of people today are taking skirts off furniture and just going with the without skirts, because that's more modern look. Things like that you have to talk about. On your work order, you need to put it down, and then so there's a lot going on here. So I think what we should do, Patrick, instead of me, I just wanted to get into this just a little bit today. I think what we should do is have a demonstration of how I go about selling a job. I think that might be interesting for people, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll promise that, you guys, and if we forget, you'll remind us. So let's move on. Do you want me to move on to where I was, Patrick, or do you want to?
I have the next one ready.
So the next one is Amazing Chippendale Restoration. It's done, for sale soon, the same one. And Lisa just says, beautiful, thank you. And now we go to the next video that we have a comment on, is the 1860s Antique Chair Restoration, Part 2. We did a multiple part on that chair.
I feel like we get a comment on that every week.
We do. I think, Patrick, I have to say, I think it has something to do with his editing and the picture we have on the front, which Patrick has up now, does he?
Yeah.
And that's cool. I like that. That is cool. So Wanda says, what would you do if the wood was not as thick or sturdy as the chair you're working on? Isn't that a good question? Sometimes, if a piece is nearing the end of its life, or started its life with a very thin, and it had the coil springs in it, like this one had coil springs, I believe. Sometimes, with the customer's okay, I'll say, I think it's to the benefit of the chair to remove the heavy, coil springs are a heavy treatment on a chair. You need big tacks to put them in, and you're really doing a lot of hammering. So I would recommend to go an easier way, especially if it's a side chair and they're not using it a lot, and then maybe go foam. I don't like doing that, but in this case, what she's asking, it might be a good idea. So that's why there has to be that communication. This is a good segue from what I was just talking about. There has to be good communication between you and the client. You ask any judge who's hearing cases on disputes, most of the cases he's hearing are contractual cases between a customer and a contractor, and most of the time it's a miscommunication. I'll never forget this old house I was watching, and they had done a house with these dormers up at the top of the house, and the dormer, for some reason, the dormers weren't lined up right, and the woman was complaining, and there was a miscommunication in a big feature of the house, which is a problem. So I would say make sure you double check, triple check even your customers. Even after a job is written, if you're not sure about something, people actually appreciate you calling them just to say, I just want to verify. Did you want French nails in that sofa? Did you not want French nails? Things like that. You might have it written down. It might be a question later. I think communication so important. I don't make too many mistakes, and I'm proud of that. It's only because I've made them all. Okay. So let's go to the next one. It's Celeste, and this is the, oh, I love this. This is the mud chair. Patrick, the mud chair. You know, we really didn't get a lot of response from this. Hold on a second, because we have a live question.
This is from Daniel.
Hi, Daniel. I think he's been on before.
Yes, yeah.
I was thinking about getting a high back chair, but I don't know what brand to get or if I'm going to build it myself. Thinking about skin or tweed as material on the outside. Any tips?
He's talking about a high back, probably a wing chair, I would imagine. That's what I think he's talking about. You know, Daniel, we're getting into this, you know, if you're getting it for yourself, we're getting into, this furniture salvation, this furniture that, you know, you can get at a yard sale. I would say you're safe with any furniture that's over 40 or 50 years old. You know, as long as it's in good shape, it's not too rickety or whatever. But all the furniture is your best bet. It's the best designed furniture out there and the most comfortable. You know, I'll talk about this now. Manufacturers are really good at presenting furniture without any blemishes, without any cushion wrinkles or anything like that, because people associate that, younger people especially, associate that with the poor job, and it's not true. If, Michaela, can you pan, if it's not too much trouble, pan over to the cushions that I just did on the sofa? On that sofa, on the Chippendale. This Chippendale has wrinkles in the cushions. They're called comfort wrinkles. Seriously, if that was in a showroom, they would have. This is mid ultra foam. It's the universal foam that I use, and it's wonderful. It's not a down cushion. Down cushion would show more wrinkles, of course. You would never see a down cushion in a showroom floor of a manufacturer, because it presents itself in a way that people aren't used to. They're not understanding what a comfortable cushion. That's my main goal, is to make a comfortable seating. Okay, and I'm getting off subject here a little bit, but I don't care. I'm on a roll here with this because I'm really people's expectation when it comes to custom work and reupholstery is that everything's going to be perfect, and there's no such thing as a perfect cushion. The longer the cushion is, the more imperfect it is. The softer the filling. Well, they'll say imperfect, but really the only way to get a cushion wrinkle free is to put an extra firm, which I can do. You want that cushion? No problem. Is to put an extra firm cushion, and I'm talking about cement, and that's what they use in a manufacturing, and that's why we get a lot of complaints about manufactured furniture. And I got called in to put a better cushioning in, and that means a little bit softer, softer cushion. Or maybe suggest a lumbar on the back, a down lumbar pillow on the back, things like that. You'd be surprised. We can upgrade manufacturer. We can kind of repair what they did, but it's all about their presentation and what they believe sells. And you know something? Honestly, that's what sells their furniture, is that there's not a blemish in the whole piece. No roll marks in the velvet because they don't use velvet. No wrinkle in the cushion because they don't use soft cushion or down or spring down or a good foam, etc., etc. So this is another thing. If you're getting into the upholstery business, we have a lot of people who watch who are getting into taking money, making money. You have to talk to your clients about this. You're not a manufacturer. You're not going to call in a local cement company and open up the back zipper and have them dump cement into the cushion. Yeah, you have a great looking cushion, but you're not going to be able to sit on it, So I'm a little adamant about this because, this is part of the tradition of upholstery. So they never had these problems 100 years ago. Do you know why? Because there were no loose cushions. 100 years ago, everything was a tight seat with an 8-way tight seat and beautiful, beautiful horsehair, and everybody loved it. Everybody was comfortable, no matter how big or small you were. You're sitting on something that was comfortable. Then with the introduction of cushions, then we open up a big can of worms. Even to this day, there's like big discussions about loose cushions and about expectations and about sometimes false expectations. But anyhow, that's my thing for today, I guess. So, so this video we did, Pat, we had somebody come in, somebody that had a non-profit, which was, they were actually purchasing mud cloth from an African country, where the women were using the mud cloth to, mud cloth is a wonderful material. You guys, if you haven't checked this out on Broadway Upholstery School, you should. It's the Malayan mud cloth ottoman. So the nonprofit here in this country was buying these to support these women who were under great stress, both from poverty and also from, unfortunately, some terrorism in that country. This nonprofit here in this country would buy them to support these women who are trying to support their families. And what we did was they were trying to find better or more practical uses for the mud cloth. Instead of just wall hangings, they wanted to maybe do an ottoman, and this is what we did for them. We did this for them, and we got this comment from Celeste, and she says, how can we order the stool? Patrick, do we have their website?
Yeah, are they still offering them? That was a while ago.
I think, I don't know, I haven't checked in with them in a while, but the pandemic.
Rubia.com.
Rubia.com.
Rubia. If you Google Rubia,
Mm-hmm.
it should come up.
Yeah. Check them out. You guys would be buying an ottoman and supporting this wonderful cause at the same time. A win-win, really. And I could say it was really wonderful working with these people. Another way that, a Broadway Upholstery has reached out into the world with what we do. Who would have thought? I would have never been able to imagine anything quite like this, that somebody would come to us and say, how would you like to help these African women support their families? And who knew, who knew you can affect the world by working, just working upholstery, So we're very proud of that. So number 5, we have Rare Find How to Upholster 1860s Antique Chair. This is different than the other one we were talking about, right? Or is it?
No, that's the first part.
Oh, that's the first part. So Amy, I think it is, she said, I just found something very similar on the side of the road. That's funny. The bottom with springs looked almost the same. Thanks for your video. So great. So he's just thanking us for their video. I bet that Amy's gone on to upholster that chair. We'd like to hear from all your success stories, and if you've had nightmares, we'd like to hear about that too. Because we all have nightmares when it comes to furniture sometimes. So let us know, and don't forget, this is a live question and answer right now, and if you have some questions, please feel free. And I think Jimmy's being shy today. So that's all right, Jimmy. You can just sit back. Jimmy, I can see Jimmy's at home. He's got his recliner, and he's sitting back. He's got his ginger ale in one hand, and he's got his hot dog.
Ginger ale, huh?
Ginger ale, and maybe a hamburger or something. And he's sipping along, watching along, and falling asleep probably, but we can't help that, right, Patrick?
I guess not.
So then we had another comment from the ottoman, from the Malayan mud cloth, and it was said gorgeous, so we appreciate that. So number 7, DIY how to pad a cane dining room chair, and Luminol says thanks a million. You're welcome. And then we got a comment from the 10,000. When we hit 10,000, we did a video, a thank you video, which I still can't believe we hit that, Patrick.
I know, it's awesome.
Last week we had that. Was that the one we showed the staples, right?
Yeah. That was the Western,
So as every representation of each person that was a subscriber, we had a box of my staples. The only thing in the shop that I had that had 10,000 in it, and wow! And I'm looking at that, I'm going, I can't believe that this represents 10,000 different people. So when you're talking about views, right, Patrick? You're talking about multiple views, maybe.
Right.
You're talking about 1.1 million views, which we have. Even if you half that, or even to the 10th, and say 100,000 people have actually, 90,000 of those haven't subscribed. So we would want people to subscribe who enjoy the show, who enjoy the question and answer, or who've gained from the YouTube channel, and maybe have fixed things based on those YouTube videos, which has saved them hundreds of dollars. Like the button we have, how to fix a pop button, that saves hundreds of dollars if you've watched that video and you've used that video. So please, please subscribe, keep subscribing. and make us more successful so that it gives us the motivation to move on. I'll tell you something, it isn't easy. You know, we had one of the local cable community access, I think I mentioned this last week, didn't I, Patrick? They came in and did a video on us for the local news program as a way of trying to help local businesses that have been affected by the pandemic. And you know, I'm not going to lie to you. We have been affected just like everybody else. I have to say, some people have been affected much more than I have or we have here at the shop. But that's what the theme was on that. And you know, this advertising that we do through cable TV is important. Every little bit is important. So you never know who's going to see that and say, let's get a sofa done now. It's a good time. But I would say I was talking to, I had to go fix a computer today. I went to the local Apple store, and I was talking to the guys in there, and I was saying, you know, they was asking me how business was, and I said, you know, I think anybody that's actually kept busy is still only about 80% functional. I don't think we're 100%. I think just the fact that we have to wear masks when we're meeting people or going out on deliveries, or just the nature, just the overall atmosphere, it affects you. So
can't shake anybody's hand, you know.
Yeah, I mean we're so, it's cumbersome, and when it's cumbersome, that means efficiency goes down. And I would guess efficiency has gone down across the board about 20%. That's my guess. And the guys at the Apple, you know, these aren't dumb people. They were agreeing with me. They agreed with me, and we had a great discussion about that. Some very nice people at that Apple store. I have to say a shout out to that store in Natick, Massachusetts. So now we go to the 10K. The comment was, you made me laugh, great intro, plus the 10K. What was the intro, Patrick?
Oh, that was, so you could tell we seem to like Western themes around here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of guns, you had your
right.
Your scissors.
And you know, I think, I'm going to make a political statement, Patrick's going to kill me. I think the world needs more staple guns and more upholsteries. Right?
You know, it's funny, Facebook banned us from selling our staple gun.
Did you hear that, you
they
guys?
Said it was a weapon.
Did you hear that? Facebook banned us from just that ad, though, right?
Just that product. Then they said, "Oh, it's fine."
We should talk a little bit about that. You know, this is
not a weapon. It's a tool.
It's not a weapon. It's a tool. You load your staples, right? You hook up air, compressed air, and I have to say the most that can happen on this is that you get shot in the finger, and that would hurt, or God forbid the eye. I think you should always wear goggles, by the way, when you're working a staple gun, and always have the safety on, right? For you beginners especially, you should have the safety. That means that, right, you can only put the staple in when you're up against a hard surface, right, and then press the trigger. That's it. It's not a weapon. I mean, even if you wanted to weaponize this, you would need a very long hose attached to a compressor, right, Patrick?
Even then, yeah.
And an electrical outlet to plug it into, right?
What a waste of time that would be.
No, this is what I call a peacemaker in the truest sense of the word, right? Now, the old West, Patrick, do you know what they used to call the guns?
Yeah, peacemaker.
They used to call them peacemakers, but I think staple guns are the real peacemaker. What we're doing is showing how people can do things on their own, and people get much benefit from that, I think. And I think they feel good, and I think it's just, you know, you look at the Malayan bud cloth, Patrick. Look how we affected people over there. Right. We'll never meet these people, right? We'll never meet them, but I'm sure that there's probably a village over in Africa that's benefited from our staple gun and our work on that mud cloth. Right? So, you know, oh well. Let's go on to the next question. We tend to, you know, go off subject just a little bit here. If you watched,
a little bit, yeah.
You know. So far we've been in the Old West. We've been in Sudan. We've been where else, Patrick? We've been
Arlington, Massachusetts.
Arlington. We've been in Saudi Arabia. We've been all over the world already in our imaginations. There's nothing wrong with the active imagination. So here we go to Nina. She says, how to upholster an outside back of a dining room chair. that was part 2 she's commenting on. Thank you. I've been trying to find a solution to fix my dining room chairs. My German Shepherd bit the upholstery, and I have no idea how to fix the back. I was going to leave it unmatched. And we showed her, and there she goes. That's, I believe, depending on how many chairs she has, that's probably about $150 per chair if it was just one chair of fix. That, again, it's all about saving money for our YouTube people. And a way to reward us, again, if you've benefited from the YouTube station, or if you're watching this for the first time and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. That's the only way we know where we're going. So Robert now says 10,000. Congratulations to all of you. He said 5K at a time, and I think he's smart. I think Robert must have a YouTube channel, Patrick, because I think I said in that 10K, I think I put another box of staples and I said, let's get 20. That's a little bit too moving too fast, because it's taken us 10 years to get to 10,000, right, Patrick?
Yeah, I
Now,
know.
that's to say, we didn't really start off fast either. I think we've gotten, Patrick, how many would you say, what is the bulk of the subscribers have come within the last 2 or 3 years, would you say?
I'd say 2 to 3 months.
Really?
More than that, 4 months maybe.
Wow.
It's really starting to pick up, because we're uploading more videos, trying to upload tons of videos for you guys.
Well, even this question and answer counts, right, Patrick?
Right.
It counts.
Definitely, they help a lot.
So the next one, do we have any live questions?
Daniel wants to know if the staple gun is 6 or 8 bar.
What is it?
6 or 8 bar.
BAR?
Yeah.
I don't know what he means by that. Let me take a look at what we got here. So we have, this one's 3/8 inch staples. I think that's probably what he's referring to for bar. So it's a number 7 Empire, which we have, by the way, we have this offered, and I wanted to mention.
Yeah, I told him how much it was.
Yeah, and I want to mention something. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before about the staples. There are many staples offered, and all of them say you can use them for pneumatic staple guns, and they're all the same. Like this, let's say number 7 3/8 inch staples will fit. There's a lot of different brand names that will fit into this, but guess what? There's only one that I know of, which is the one we offer, that won't jam your gun. This is so important, you guys, to use the right supplies. I mean, I've time tested this for over 40 years, and I know what works. I know what works where. And it goes through with every item that we have on there. There's not one item that I don't stand behind. Staples are a tricky thing. You can really have a bad day with a bad box of staples, let me tell you. Because what they do is they lay on the glue, the adhesive that holds the individual staples together. A bad staple or a cheap staple will do that, and what that will do is jam your gun. Even a good gun like this. This is a very, very high-end gun which we have offered. It's the only gun I recommend, by the way, you guys. It's expensive, but why mess around with those arts and crafts guns or those box store guns that you can get, those big, hardware stores. They'll sell you a really bad gun that no matter what type of staple you put on it will jam. So use the right equipment. If you're going to do it right. That's what I say. But so Daniel, there's 3 different sizes that I use: a 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch, and a 1/2 inch, pretty much. And we have another live question.
Well, this is a comment to that. Monique says bar is the pressure of the air compressor.
I didn't know that. Isn't that funny? So I'm learning something today too. I just say pressure. It's 80 to 90 pounds is perfect, and that's really important to know. So when you're stapling in to fabric, if you have anything over 90 pounds, and you could go up to 120, don't do that, because your staple will blow right through the fabric. That's how powerful it is. So you want it to, this is an excellent, I don't think this has ever been brought up before. Pounds per square inch, I think it is, or bar, what you say. So 80, 90 pounds, and seems to be the right amount that will get you through even oak, but not blow through the fabric. Isn't that interesting? And then using the proper gun, which is the feature of this gun, which I've mentioned before, is that it works on a low cycle or low energy on the compressor when your compressor's starting to wind down before it kicks in again. So you're getting less bar, as you say. So, but this gun, because it's a low pressure gun, will still work and perform at the same level as when the compressor turns on and goes through its cycle again. So you're dealing in the pressure range, you're dealing in maybe, I say 80 to 90 is what you set your compressor, but you're dealing in that range of 80, 90. Sometimes your compressor lets you down a little bit and it goes below. Sometimes I notice my compressor does that. It's like having a bad day or the humidity or something and it goes down to 75 bar and then kicks in. This gun's still gonna work. The other guns don't. And so every time a gun doesn't perform, it's putting stress on all the parts. And sometimes you have to go in there and dig out a staple that didn't come out all the way. So just equipment, and good equipment is so important. So good questions, you guys, really. And thank you for letting me know about that term. I didn't know about that. So thank you. So we got number 5. No, we did that. And number 6. So we're going to go on to the next one. Number 7, right, Patrick?
10.
10?
Yes.
Boy, where did I fall behind here? Number 10. Robert says, congratulate. Well, I already read that, Patrick.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Now you're Pam's.
And now Pam's, right. Oh, wow. Is that up, Patrick?
Yeah, it's up now.
Pam, you are unbelievable. Your biggest fan is watching right now, and that's Jimmy. And I'm a little jealous because I think, Pam, that you've surpassed me and my fan, Jimmy, I think has moved on. I think he's a fickle fan, and I think you're he's your biggest fan now because it's for reasons like this. She gets into more of a creative mode than I do, Patrick, because I think it's interesting. Pam wouldn't mind me talking about this before I read this, but I've noticed about the different type of stuff that Pam does. I think she's into more of a arts and crafts. Is that the word I want to use? She can fill me in if she's watching. But compared to my shop, I'm really in full reupholstery mode here. And that's what I do. She seems to. I'm a little jealous too, sometimes with some of the stuff I see her do. She seems to have time, or her business is inclined to more projects like this. And this is a carpet. Let's just read this right now. And I think she can really get colorful. I mean, there's nothing more colorful than our Oriental carpet. So Pam says, and she's a founding member, by the way, of the Broadway Upholstery School Forum, as well as Jimmy is, right? But Jimmy has a rank over her, doesn't Jimmy outrank her? Isn't Jimmy an administrator?
I think so.
On our Broadway Upholstery School, Patrick? Right. So that means he has a certain amount of control, right? We hope he doesn't abuse that. Jimmy has kind of like the red. He doesn't have the red button though, does he, Patrick?
I don't think he can just terminate the whole thing if he wants.
Yeah, you have the red button, right? Patrick has the red button. Jimmy might have a pink button or red or a blue button, right? Where he has some administrative control.
I know he has a badge. If that means anything. He
has a badge?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's good. I hope he's
virtual
watching.
Badge.
Is he still watching, Patrick?
Yeah, I think so. His name, he's just commented. He said, hello, Pam.
See? I didn't even get a hello from the guy. Yeah. Well, anyhow, Pam says, working on another signature vintage rug ottoman. Any tips for easier hand stitching in the corners? Oh, boy. Yeah, I do. I mean, you are challenged with that. A couple of things. You need to be really heroic when you trim out before you stitch it. When you're trimming out before you pleat it, you need to be heroic in how close you get that. I mean, you want to talk about just enough of a rollover, a little flap. The more you have there, the worse or more bulky it's going to look. And I think you know what I'm talking about, Pam. So that's one thing. The other thing is, as far as your needles go, first of all, you know the thread that you need, which, by the way, I'm going to plug the Broadway Upholstery School again, but we have all these threads. We just sold some threads to our friend John, right, Patrick?
Yes.
John just bought some of these, and he posted. We showed that in one of the shows last week or the week before.
Yep.
John did an amazing job, and I think what helped him was the correct supplies. So this is a hand stitching thread. I'm sure Pamela uses this, and her needles. Needles are very important. You need to find a needle that you're comfortable with for the job that you're doing. I have a really good suggestion for Pam. I'm not sure if she's thought of this. The main suggestion, I said, make sure you have a diamond pointed needle, right, Pam? Diamond pointed needles really go through fabric fibers better than a round pointed needle, okay? So that's one really good tip. The other tip is the size of the needle. When you're going through something really thick like that, you're probably going to need more leverage, so a bigger needle, right? That makes sense, right? The other thing, I'm giving away all my secrets today. All my secrets as far as hand stitching go. There's one other thing. Let's say you've tried everything. You have to stay with your thread. You've tried all your needles and you're still struggling. You could take a pair of pliers. You have to be very careful when you do this for more leverage, and then try to work with the pliers, right? But you have to make sure you maintain that curved motion. A lot of times people forget that and they'll break a needle because they're not using the curve with the pliers, right? Do you follow me? So then there's one, so you try all those things, and then there's one last ditch effort, and I think I can find my can here that I have. And this is a real top secret. So don't you guys go around blabbing this to anybody, but you use a silicone spray. And a silicone spray will give you a little bit of like a smooth, icy kind of finish on your needle, and it'll make the needle run through your fibers a little bit better. Let's see if I have my can of silicone around here. Yeah, I think I do. Patrick, do we have the silicone offset on the website?
Michaela, you probably...
No, we don't.
We might have to post this now that we did this.
Yeah.
But silicone, I just wanted to talk a little bit about silicone. And, there is, with any chemical, I don't use a lot of chemicals, you guys. I really don't. I use this sparingly. I have spray glue once in a while, and silicone, just very sparingly, You don't need much of it to do. If it's going to work, it's going to work with very little. So Pam, I think with all those tips, you must tell me if you've used if it was easier for you. You must let us know. And I know she will, because she's a good friend of the shop. So that's that. I did want to ask, any more questions live?
Terry wants to know what recommended pliers.
Well, it depends. If you're doing stripping, definitely the diagonal pliers. Is she referring to what I was just talking about?
Yeah. She just says she's
regular pliers on that. Regular pliers, not your needle nose. Don't use these or your side cutters for what I was just talking about, because this is made for cutting wire. So you don't want to cut the needle. You just want to hold it tight. And the flat pliers. I'll show you with flat pliers. Just a regular pair of pliers for that, for the tip that I just gave. That's a smaller plier. You can get one with a wider nose at the bottom. Might even be better for that. But okay. Any other questions or comments, Patrick, right now?
Nope.
Okay. So I had a couple of notes about what I wanted to talk about, and I talked about the cushions. Oh, you guys should check out, is it the website that has the products, Patrick?
YouTube, right on the channel there.
Right on the YouTube channel. I never thought I'd see the day, you guys, that I would have products, my own products. I mean, I feel like a big company. I feel like, I don't know, big
fan shop.
Sports
like
company.
at Fenway Park.
Yeah. And we have products like, we have throw pillows with our logo on it. We have mugs, we have t-shirts, we have sweatshirts, tote bags, and more importantly, masks. with our logo on it. So really thrilled about that. You guys should check it out. And you know, if you get a project done, I've been telling my own customers, you know, we're offering throw pillows online if you want a throw pillow for your sofa or chair that we just upholstered. But if you want, you can get on and check that out. I think they're very reasonably priced too, by the way. So I wanted to take a little time today. I have this shell back up here. I think we're through with all our questions and comments, Patrick. I just wanted to talk about a little bit about this chair that came in my shop. These, I call it shell back. Some people call it channel back. I like the expression shell back because it just looks to me like a seashell. I like that. So I usually refer to them like that, but channel back's fine too. And a lot of people are very intimidated by these, and there's a really proper way of doing it. I'm going to give you a couple of tips. I'm not going to tear this apart right now, but I think I can show you on a piece of paper how to measure this. So if you have one at home, you can measure it, and I'm going to give you the techniques that we use to do it. So let's just stand up here and get my straight tape measure. And I'll bring it closer, a little closer here. And try to stand off to the side a little bit. And then get my pen. Hold on a second. The first thing I do, you know, I'll measure the whole chair out first. I'll cut everything out first, and I'll save the back for last. So what I do, even now, I'll draw out the channels on a piece of paper. And I want to show you what the big difference is with these, some of them. So I draw each channel. So we have one channel in the middle and two channels, two channels. And then we have a wing. There's a difference. The wing's a little bit bigger. Okay? Wing. The wings are on the end. Let me just hold this up. Oops. So we have a left wing and a right wing, and if you want to refer that's fine too. Let's just put left wing, right wing. Okay. And then these are shells. Shell. I'm doing this for your benefit, you guys. Shell and shell. All right. So one of the main differences is that you have to pay attention to this because we like to reuse the material in here. This is a rolled piece of cotton, and we have a question.
Yes, this is from Anil.
Anil from India. How you doing? I hope that we were helpful for you. What's the question he has?
He says, can you help to provide boxed cushion piping model from the YouTube?
He means that do we have a video on box cushions? I don't think we do. I told him
Well, I think Bernice shows it on one of hers.
On the online class?
Yeah, I think so. You better check that out,
Yeah,
Pat.
I know the Chippendale had box cushions, remember?
The Chippendale.
Yeah, originally.
Yeah.
That's what they were?
Right, they're box cushions, but you know, we didn't show it in.
We didn't use them because they were unsavable, right?
No, he's talking about how to make a box cushion, Patrick.
That's what I mean. Like we had them on that, but we never redid those.
I'm pretty sure the online class doesn't Jimmy Michelle's class. She does a box cushion right in the online class
I think so.
for the tub chair. So he has to. Anel, this is you ask good questions, and it's a tutorial. It's so long. You need to get that. You need to just bite the bullet and buy that online class because it shows in the last class, right, Patrick?
Yes.
In depth, it shows you how to measure, how to cut, and how to sew.
And which class? Which one was it?
I'm pretty sure it was the tub chair, Patrick.
That had a box cushion?
Michelle did the whole cushion. Do you remember?
I know, because she had so many pieces.
I'm pretty sure Michelle did it, or check it out.
I can check it right now.
Make sure we give them the right information. But let's get back to, unless there's another question. Let's get back to the shell back. So I draw it out, you guys, and I was just about to mention this is the center cushion, the center shell. Okay, so this is really important. Pay attention to this. Sometimes the center of the shell is the center of the chair. I'm going to make sure I dramatize this. Hold on a second. This is really important. On this particular shell back, the center shell is the center of the chair. Sometimes it's the seam that's the center of the chair. That's very important for when you're about to cut the cushion, the shell back out. So you need to distinguish that, because I want to reuse the stuffing in this. This is bigger than this. This is a right wing. This is a left wing. I want to reuse it. I want to reuse each channel to where it is. I don't want to take the right channel and use it on the center. And I want to make sure that when I cut it, the center shell is in the center of the chair. Very important. Okay? And I'm going to give you the best tip on this, the best advice. Remember, these are angles on this shell that we're cutting, right? And measuring right now, and then cutting later. It's very important that you minimize. Okay? It's not done like we usually extend our cuts 3 inches longer. On this one here, we're going to make sure that we're very close, because the longer you make this, the angle changes. Okay, so just imagine if this was 10 feet tall and you were doing this angle, it's going to be different. So you have to keep this measurement close. Okay, so I'm going to do that first. I'm going to measure that first. So this measurement, I want to make sure I have it tacked here, and then I'm going to tuck it just a little bit on the seat and only add 1 inch. 28 inches. That's very close. 28. I'm not going to make it, normally I would be cutting this 31 inches, so that's going to be 28. All of them are going to be cut 28 up and down, right? Okay, now the other important measurement is we're going to measure the top and the bottom, side to side. It's the only other measurement we need until we could take this over and cut our fabric, okay? And explain, I'm not going to actually cut the fabric right now, we're just measuring. So I'm going to measure seam to seam. I have 5.5. We're going to add 1 inch, so 6.5, 6.5. The 6.5 is up at the top for your shells only, you guys, right? 6.5, 6.5, 6.5 for the shells, which is the 1 inch, ½ inch seam on each side. 6.5, 6.5 at the top. Right? Now let's measure our wing. That's going to be a different measurement. Look how much more we need. Now I'm going to add a little bit now on that side. I'm going to add 2 inches, so that's 11 inches on the wing. 11. Right? Look at that. 6.5 and 11. Okay. Now we need to measure the bottom, because it tapers down. That's what gives you the beautiful effect of the shell, is that it has to be cut at an angle. I'm not going to go into all of this, you guys, but we do have a video, Patrick. We have a YouTube video about shell back chairs, I think.
Yes, and that was actually the same chair that John was working on in the class, so he knows a lot about those.
So that is, if you guys have one of these, an invaluable free YouTube video. You can't ask for anything more than that. It goes into the in-depth about the cutting part of it, but I'm just doing the measurement live here. So if you have any questions, just pipe up, you guys. So down below, our channel measures 3.5 actual, so that's 4.5. 4.5 with the ½ inch on each side. 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. So that's our bottom measurement. And I'm going to keep the 11 inches on the bottom too, because we have room. We're going to have room to cut and all out this way. So it doesn't matter that I don't have the angle down there. So 11 inches, 11 inches. So there you go. That's what I do, you guys. So reference now from this point on. You can reference the YouTube channel. And do you know the exact title of that YouTube?
I don't know, but I know I had a picture of a shell in the thumbnail. So
look for the shell in the thumbnail. That's really good, Patrick, that you did that, because people can reference that. And I think, Patrick, do we have any other business right now, or are there any other questions?
Just all there is. The Chippendale is going to be up right after this.
Wow.
So if you're really interested, check it out.
Well, I have to admit,
If not,
you guys,
at least enjoy looking at the final picture. They have some cool pictures up there.
I can't wait for somebody to buy this. I can't wait for the adventure of delivering it, Patrick, because that will kind of like close out the whole story of this sofa, right? From the beginnings on the sidewalk in Arlington, Massachusetts with the, is that the one you have the tumbleweeds on there, Patrick?
Yeah.
Tumbleweeds. Patrick's really gone with the wind type effects he has. And then from the, you know, the restoring of it, the tying of the springs, the putting on the fabric, all that stuff, the French nails and everything. And then from the moment it's bought, maybe, and then maybe whoever buys it will be willing to be a subject in the delivery of it.
Yeah, anywhere in New England we can ship it to.
Anywhere?
Deliver it, I mean.
Did you say is there a word that we should say now, Patrick, about that?
What?
Free?
Yes, free delivery for anywhere in New England.
And that's a bargain, you guys.
But we are going to be shipping it everywhere.
And
likely, we're talking to companies.
Yeah, it means creating it and shipping it. Wouldn't be us. It would be somebody, a company that does it. But we're excited about this. We're hoping that this works, because if it works, we'll go to the next project, which I'm kind of excited about. And I haven't even told Patrick, but I'm going to tell him live. I think we have a lead on 3 original King Louis side chairs, which I can't believe.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, they're really fascinating. So there's plenty of furniture out there. It's just that finding a buyer for the furniture after you've put the effort into it. That's the tricky part. So we hope that you guys check that out. And so I think if that's it, Patrick, we're going to say goodbye.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.